subscribe.
Holding all together.
Hey everybody, Ops Mike here. We're back for part 2 with my friend Heidi Schwende, and man, so much fun talking to her. I could talk to her for hours and the conversation just goes. I hope you enjoy, and remember, Ops sucks. What are you seeing already, Heidi, in the sense of, because again, you are such a prospector, like you live and breathe prospecting to try to find sales opportunities. What are you seeing that's not working, and where do you think the pivot or the shift in approach to get the door opener has to go, at least as far as you're able to analyze it till today, knowing that what you share right now may be a moot point in 2 months?
So in 2026, what I'm going to be doing, and it's just in the process of being built right now, I am going to be leveraging AI. So you have to do your buyer personas. You have to know who they are. You have to know who you want to target. You have to know you have to know which verticals and all that. None of that has changed. It's all still the same. You still have to use lists and whatever else. However, the way I'm going to be leveraging AI in 2026 is in my reach outs, they're going to be getting a custom. This is what I found about your business, about the people who are competing with you online, and exactly what you would need to do to fix this. Not the how, but definitely the what. And send that to them in the email for them, for their business, with their own numbers. And I think that is going to make a difference versus all the, we can get you on pay. The ones you talked about earlier in the pod.
The stereotypical solicitation.
Yeah, the typical solicitation that doesn't work anymore. They're being
And
flooded. They're ignoring it.
what makes them read the subject line or the beginning of your email introduction to say, huh? Because that's what you need moving forward. You need them to go, huh? Because then they've thought about something, and then at least gives you the opportunity to show more. But if I understand you correctly, you're going to get hyper personalized, not only about the changing landscape, but how to really tie it back to them versus, let's call it like a cold blanketed cadence that worked 6 or 12 months ago, but
That's
is
correct.
having diminutive returns now.
Yeah, this is how I'm going to be leveraging AI in 26 for my sales process.
Nice.
So it should bring in better, more qualified leads, people who will believe coming in that we know what we're talking about. Um, so it's using the necessary tools to give them some insights coming in and saying, without actually diving into the back end of your systems and everything, this is what we see on the front end.
Nice.
And this is what we think we can do if we improve this. So if your ROAS is this, we'll be able to get you to this. Or if you're not achieving ROAS of, like, let's say you're at 1.5, to really make money, you need to be at minimum 3 ROAS. We'll try to get you to 5. It's almost going to look like a web page, but designed for them,
Interesting.
if you know what I mean. So, and that's to get the conversation. And now book your complimentary consultation with me, 30 minutes, and we shall see what that does. But I just knew I had to be doing something different in 2026, not just the usual. Are you interested in
Yep.
SEO or PPC or
Because you also want to disqualify the people that are just wasting your time, right? And
yeah,
that's
tire
the thing.
kickers, and there are a lot of
Hardest thing with
those.
outreach is you will get lots of opportunity, but like you shared with me just in coaching and mentoring me a little bit about your process over the years, is how much screening you really do. Again, if you can get more quality than quantity, and then your closing rate goes up, and maybe you're not working that 50 hours to get those 2 appointments, you're working half of that.
That's right.
Bad example, but you know what I'm saying is
Yeah,
that the efficiency to get better, better partnerships and better clients is ultimately what we want. But again, we're a commodity centric business, and more than ever, and everybody believes now with technology they can do what we know. How do we stand out to really have a unique selling proposition that is viable, and stays on top of the changing technology sector. That's going to be the key, because this technology is not going there. This is not a fab. It's not going to die
No,
in
no,
3 months. This is
no,
the
no.
future. And you and I already know that it's not just optimizing for humans, it's optimizing for the LLMs, large language models, and
Hmm.
also transitioning and moving forward to how do we optimize content, websites, and online presence to allow the agentic, the virtual agents that
Yes,
are
yes.
coming to be able to facilitate full tasks for us, like go to an e-commerce and buy Heidi a new pair of glasses. This is the color,
Oh,
this is the size, this is the brand I want, this is the maximum amount of money I'm going to spend, and go find it, ship it to my house, and you're allowed to access my credit card and make the payment for me.
yeah,
So,
yeah. We talked about that last night, right? That is crazy stuff,
and it's
though.
already in beta in the US. It's
Yes,
already in beta.
yes, they're doing it, and now people are going to have to do profit schema, like right down to the
Big
product.
time. Product schema is good. And again, I'm glad you've mentioned schema a couple times. Like, schema markup for anybody in the digital marketing sector or what is like, it's been around forever. But double down on schema markup. Robust external and internal schema markup that will, because it's a major signal to teach and understand what's on a page. And to your point, those elements, you're going to need those things so that it can, again, understand as it learns. This is what I needed to do this.
Yes,
And again, there's no playbook to that yet.
no,
There's no just here how to do it. Oh, you build a website like this, you change the code like that. It's still coming. And that's the great thing about our age industry, and that's the shit of our agents.
yeah, it's both.
Sorry,
It's a
our
double-edged
industry.
sword, eh?
It's a double-edged sword, because one, we're never stale. We are always learning. We're always on our toes. We're always having to collaborate like this, and
Mm.
just get a baseline of, do I know what I'm talking about? Does it match up with what you're seeing and what my friend Denise is seeing, and what Jack Porter Smith is seeing and everything else? Or am I completely out to lunch?
Yeah, another
Um,
one, Denise Bowen, smart, smart, smart lady, smart.
Way
Love
smarter
her.
than I am.
She knows what she's talking about. I can tell you, Mike, it's gonna continue to change. It's gonna continue to revolutionize our I mean, it's still gonna continue to be exciting, but I think, right now, traditional SEO is gonna get us in the room, maybe. But if you're teaching AI, that'll earn you a seat at the table. And if you
Well,
think about the
like you said
thousands
with
of
that,
people at smart people,
and
engineering people, people with
the word the
PhDs
word
at
you're saying the
Google.
word you're saying overall that kind of consolidates all this. It goes back to what you said earlier in the podcast. Here is, we're really going to need to utilize education as a means for opening the door, for showing expertise,
Yes.
establishing trust, and demonstrating value, because this is something new. No different than SEO was 20 years ago, where it's like you optimize a website to do this or to do that or whatever. It was new. So we had to educate customers the value. We've got to make them understand that this is not just Chat GPT, because that's what we are hearing on customer calls is, oh, I have a Chat GPT account, and oh yeah, it pumps out great, quick little descriptions for me and so forth. But I'm sitting there saying, like, do you understand how people are searching? Do you understand people are going to use websites moving forward? Do you understand that we can build GPTs like virtual memory of a brand to retain information and not make mistakes like humans do, or how we can do this very quickly for a customer? And then they say, oh, that's what AI is being used for. And then we sit there, we're not even scratching the surface of what
No.
it can do. That's just a small, but it's finding what they understand. And to WSI head office's credit, and WSI as an organization has invested a lot to build basically AI academy or AI education courses that we can take to
Yep.
market to help businesses adopt AI, in the sense of, have you never used Chat GPT? We'll do the basics. You're more robust, we'll show you more that you can do, because we're talking to a lot of C-class business titles that say, I don't know how to integrate AI into my business.
That is so important too. If you're doing sales, you have to be talking to the decision maker, either the owner or the CMO or the VP of marketing. You cannot be talking to an influencer. because
Correct.
influencers are we're gonna terrify them. They're
And
gonna
you
be
and
too
you need
afraid.
and you need to look from that ownership or that higher end. They are the type of people that don't care about the technical jargon, but they care about the business impact,
That's
and
right, that's right.
that's where they need to understand basically risk assessment to show that they won't be behind other major companies and so forth. And if you can talk intelligently and you can show within the network that you have resources, you have decks, you have AI academy courses, and then you can talk tactics and strategy, because that may be what they need to say, aha, that's why we need this now, versus I've heard about SEO for 15 years and I don't believe in it and so forth. There's a lot of people still like that. But
Yes,
with change creates urgency, with change creates fear, and we have to knock that fear down for people, including ourselves. And then from there, we've got to help paint the narrative of where things are going so that we can bring it to them, versus them getting lost on the internet with all the bullshit that doesn't make sense and it's not real. Like we've been hearing for a year now, Heidi, you and I, and all the major platforms that we read and research. SEO is dead. SEO is dead. You got all these influencers on LinkedIn. SEO is dead. Let me show you why.
that's
Couldn't be.
bullshit.
It's all bullshit. Couldn't be farther than the truth. There's too much money to be made in SEO. What I mean for Google overall, there's too much money and paid advertising, and so forth. It's evolving. Again, it's adapting and evolving, and we have to adapt with how the user experience is changing, of how people source and discover information. If you want to simplify it, there it is right now. Don't worry about all the tactics, but how do you have to understand how your customer is going to leverage the internet moving forward to find what they want, and ultimately to show that you are what they needed.
Exactly. We are now where people wanted to, when the internet first started, "I can never find what I want," because people were putting in questions. They were asking the search engines to give them what the search engines can now give them today.
No kid. Do you remember the days when we would, you go into Google search and you'd say like roofer plus Toronto plus residential, because
Yes,
you knew you had to put plus signs between, because you wanted Google's algorithm to understand to put those together, or long phrase or
right
whatever,
on.
but you just put in keywords to say, okay, this plus this relevancy.
Yeah.
Now, exactly like you said, you don't even have to type with your fingers with artificial intelligence. You
No,
can connect your mic like we're talking right now,
voice
and you
search.
can record yourself and say, I want to go find a roofer in Toronto for my residential home that has shingles or whatever else. And it will understand the context of your voice and
Yes.
your tone to be able to then say, okay, that's what you want. Here it is.
And it'll give it to you in AI overviews. Ah!
It'll give
If
it to
you
you in
if you
AI
can be
mode.
there.
It'll give it to you in all the different LLMs. And the thing that we're seeing as well is, I think it's important to share as we kind of maybe put a pin in AI, because we could talk hours about this. And I want to have a little bit of fun with you before we wrap up, just because if I don't make fun of Jack or he doesn't make fun of me, then what are we doing? Um, is with the AI and with all the large languages, they don't produce the same result.
No.
That's the interesting thing so far. So you go into Gemini, you go into Perplexity, you go into ChatGPT. Let's call it three of the big ones. You could type in the same question, if you will, and you'll get three different answers and three different sites and whatever else. And there's even stuff you go into ChatGPT, type the same question three times, you get three different answers, because it's not just saying I'm pulling one answer for you; it's pulling different ones. So it's still not there. You can say it's a single source answer. No, it's not. So, how do you get them to be consistent? How do you get that depth? That's why you need a digital marketing agency, is to be able to help you strategically do the right things, avoid the wrong things, so that you can start climbing in that discoverable visibility.
Right on. I think eventually there will probably be certain things that each of these LLMs look for. And we're going to start to learn how to optimize for each of the LLMs. So, Google wants this. Like we haven't even touched on the shopping schema
No.
Rufus in Amazon. We haven't even talked about that. That
Mhm.
is way advanced already. But anyhow, just I don't
Well,
want to go
and
on a
lastly,
tangent.
maybe what we should say about that piece is, I am quietly fascinated in my head, and I know you are, being you're a big advocate and a big proponent of paid advertising. As soon as paid ads get into the LLMs,
Yeah.
what like what an opportunity for us as marketers to basically have different sources now to further advertise versus the massive big brother conglomerate of Google dictating everything. That's going to
Yes.
be interesting. But
Yes.
just the sheer money that, opportunity for Google being owning AdWords, and just what that's going to mean to have more real estate. Does it bring down CPCs and cost per acquisition because there's more areas to advertise? Does it spike it into being more expensive? Will customers be able to use less money to get more, or have to double down and spend more money? Because we've also seen from the chatter in our WSI that there's a lot of signals and a lot of comments that, your SEO package is not enough
No.
to, you can't just say, well, I'm going to get rid of my SEO package, do LMs. It's another layer of work. That means more work for your agency. We have to actually do more work, more
Yes.
hours, more stuff. So our pricing or our packages that include these are going to have to increase. Well, customers are used to a certain threshold of a package pricing that has to work with their marketing budget, but we're going to have to educate them that it's not that we're gouging you just for more money for opportunity. It's because we got more work to do now because we're optimizing everywhere versus just the search engine.
You know what this is going to do? This is going to, the old saying, the cream rises to the top. That's what's
Yep.
going to happen with all of this. The businesses that are doing it right are going to rise to the top, and the others are unfortunately going to get left behind. And
Yep.
that's a scary thought. That's a really scary thought, Mike.
It's a scary thought, but again, we'll have to navigate it as it comes because it's
Yeah,
moving so fast. And look at even this conversation we had. It's so thought provoking. We haven't solved anything. We're sharing our thoughts and feelings of what we know intelligently. I'm never going to sit here and say something like I know anything because, again, a lot of this is subjective of what we can analyze and understand because we're still waiting for facts. We're
mhm,
waiting for true data to reinforce what we're saying here, and it's coming. It's getting better, but it's still coming with accuracy.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but
and I think we're gonna have to start optimizing differently, or the signals that we send. When I say optimize, you know what I mean.
yeah,
We're gonna
no,
have to start
absolutely,
sending different signals to different LLMs because they're looking
yes,
for different things. I think
yes.
that will come. We're not there yet, but it will come, and
This
it's
is
going to get
why
a lot
we're
more complicated.
exhausted coming at the tail end of 2025 because the stuff that we're talking about here, this stuff here, it has been exhausting because there is so much buzz. AI is the only word you hear in the entire world now, it seems like, from every facet. There are too many tools. There are too many startups trying to create software that
That's right.
there's lots of data out there already of how many AI startups are already bankrupt or have gone under, because they looked at opportunity, but it doesn't materialize. So, what are the ones that survive with truly good solutions of technology? And you have to pick and choose what you can do. You cannot do all of this. Again, majority of small agencies in digital marketing, small agencies, they do not have 20, 30, $50,000 a month retainers like big corporate companies that are doing tons of testing and have hundreds of thousands of data points to do this. I'm not saying at all the small agencies are doing Mickey Mouse SEO or Mickey Mouse marketing, but a package that costs $1,500 a month or $2,000 a month only has so many units of time. So you have to focus again on what are the one things that are going to move the needle in cadence, devalue the ones that are old tactics or maybe not the right signals, as you put it. And from there, continue to educate and layer things on with the customer based on trust and proof of concept, which comes from the metrics.
Yeah, and you're right. The small agencies are not going to be able to do it. They are either going to go out of business or they're going to get gobbled up.
Or they're going to have to specialize even further versus trying to sell themselves as we do everything.
Correct, correct.
And
And
there's already signals that agencies are shifting to be AI consultants, AI educators, simply because it's very hard to do fulfillment and to stay relative and to stay on top of it. Like we talked last night, you and I. What's web development going to be in the next 5 years? Simply for the fact that there's technology that may be able to code, problem solve, QC,
mhm,
better than any super intelligent developer savant out there that costs a premium. So are we going to see developers out of jobs, just like they were saying a year or two ago that Photoshop people and graphic designers are going to have trouble getting work? And obviously the content writing industry has been dismantled to an extent because of AI generating content. Why am I going to pay a copywriter $300 a page and they're moody, pissed off? They don't get the onboarding document. They don't understand my customer and they're late on their deliverables. But the AI, we teach it all this stuff and it says it. And the cloud says, this is the most accurate piece of content about my brand that's ever been created. Thank you. So we don't know. And again, that's why we are adapting. And that's why we have to have conversations like this that don't solve anything, but allow us just to understand where's the line in the sand, and are we on the same side of just trying to do it correctly? And what are we learning each and every week that we can share with each other so that you don't make a mistake or I don't make a mistake, or this is really important to integrate because it's survival mode, sadly. And that's why, going back to why we're tired, it's been a
Yeah, yeah,
very, very
exactly.
taxing year because there's so much uncertainty and fuck, I'm tired.
Yeah, I am like, gosh, I need a vacation. And I'll tell you, we are very fortunate, Mike. We are so lucky that we have this network, this international network of
Yeah.
people in 88 countries. I mean, we are so, so
Can
fortunate.
you can you imagine being a small agency that just said, I want to set up,
Yeah.
Heidi's agency in XY town and not have the support system that we have
No,
in the sense of how the WSI network is designed?
no, can't even
Exactly that.
imagine.
We can at least say, I'll go to our internal forums. I will go to my colleagues. I will get on a podcast. I will get on whatever, and I can have thought leadership, tactical leadership, insights versus going to Reddit and going into forums trying to cipher through the nonsense online. We are very blessed that way, and I've said this numerous times. I have been very opinionated personally about how WSI is changing because WSI, to their credit, has been investing a lot of money to want to be a thought leader and be really a spearhead for AI, knowing that it's really changing our ecosystem. And with that being said, we feel like we're behind, but we have also talked to you and I that we are so farther ahead than others that don't have the resources or the the network investment of what they're doing to try to build tools, trying to build education, and trying to just to stay on top of it.
Yeah. And I was looking at the training pages after our open forum today, and the training looks pretty good. It really does. Like you can
Yeah.
go from it is like a training academy. It's very, very good stuff.
Yeah, and you know what, and also that helps to for someone like me who's so visual to practically look at it and say, aha, because then training or an academy can be a door opener. It can be a way to help businesses understand where we're going and why we're evolving versus just trying to sell something. It has to tie back to what we have historically done, because what I don't want to have happen overall is I just don't want people to devalue digital marketing until like anything, it dies or it evolves further. I want people to understand, like I said, it just continues to shift, it continues to adapt, it continues to evolve, and we have to stay on top of it. That's the freshness of this industry. You never stop learning because like the old days, Google would just roll an algorithm update and flip us upside down. Everything we learned for 3 years for how to do SEO doesn't work anymore. And we're still here 25 years later, my agency, adapting to the changing landscape.
Yep.
But digital marketing is still extremely important. The consumer always needs something, and the internet is the biggest space for them to confidently go find information. And our job is to make sure that businesses get found.
So we went from no internet in say 1995 to having the dot-com bust in the year 2000
Yep.
to 2025. We have full-blown, full-scale AI. That is a rapid acceleration, and I
Yeah.
was here for all of it, and I still find it exciting.
Well, it
Now I'll
is
give you
exciting.
something funny. I'll tell you something funny as we
Exciting for
close.
the potential. It's exciting for the potential
Yeah.
because again, going tying it back to our digital marketing, we want to do it better. We want to
Mm,
do it so it actually converts. And again, let's be honest, people's brains and specialties, they can only do so much in a day. Brains get fatigued. But if
mhm.
you can sit there with your brain and say, again, give me 20 ad copy ideas, give me 20 conversion opportunities, give me this and whatever else. It's not making you stupid, but you're sitting there going, I have more options. Aha, I thought I could use that language. So the word in AI is being an engineer, and that scares people because engineers, by historical definition, are very, very smart people.
Yes.
I'm not an engineer. You don't have to be an engineer. It's just a word. Can you engineer a conversation with the virtual memory of the AI chat GPT to articulate what you want or what you need it to do? And if
Mhm.
you can understand that and use your voice like this or use your fingers, whatever you're more comfortable with articulating yourself, then you're already an engineer. And the first advice to anybody is take that concept and do something very simple that is very frustrating or time consuming or boring or repetitive. And once the light bulb goes on, then you'll be able to apply it even more robustly to the next larger thing of your business or even your life.
Yeah, and I think the LLMs are gonna start specializing in certain things too. Like, you wanna create, like you said, you wanna create some real robust engineering. Maybe that's ChatGPT. You want something, that's going to create, your brand presence and your brand strategy and all this kind of stuff. Maybe that's Claude. Maybe Perplexity does something else in the financial institutional space. Like, we just don't know where this is gonna go yet.
People are very, very scared, and rightfully so. You said last night, we're all scared of, our jobs going to be replaced. We're already seeing it in certain sectors. Sadly, bigger companies are scaling back workforce for AI, whether it's right or wrong this early or it's the right time. Scared of the whole concept of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Are the machines going to take over and revolt on us? Is Hal from 2001 Space Odyssey going to say, bye, Mike, let me, kiss my ass? Um, is that going to come to
Oh,
life?
yeah,
But
no, I'm not gonna do that. No.
yeah,
What do you mean,
can you
Mike?
imagine?
No,
Hey,
thanks,
I
Mike.
want you
I'm
to
not
help me
doing
with the proposal. I'm not going to do that. What? It might come that way, but we're not there yet. So
Yeah.
use it for what it is. It is a tool, and it's a tool to help make you more operational efficient and help you hopefully get 60 to 70% of the output that you want to produce ready much faster so that the last 30%, which is your eyes, can fact check and drill down and refine and make it better. That's, at a nutshell, how it should be used until it takes the next huge leap, and it's coming. But
Oh, it will come. I don't even want to entertain, uh, the Skynet scenario. I can't.
I do. Oh my god, I hope so. Like, I'm outside, I'm had a terrible day in operations. I see the Skynet plane come, a missile aimed right at me. It blows me up and somehow takes the internet with it. Oh, what a dream! It'd be an
And
absolute
Heidi
dream.
will be there scraping into her desk with a knife. No fear.
Well, you know what? If Skynet wants to blow up the world, just take me with you first, and that way I don't have to do digital marketing anymore. Well, look, we've talked enough AI tech speaking and everything else. Let's have a little bit of fun as we wrap up here because
Already?
we are colleagues and we are friends first. So you had asked me at the beginning saying we're going to talk about the crotch story. So let's just get that out there. That's
That was the best.
and
Oh my
let's
God. It
set it
was
up
so
correctly.
funny.
So
I'm sitting across from the two of you, of course, and I'm seeing the faces. I see Jack's face and your face, but I can't see what's going on under the table. Oh my God. So
all
funny.
right, so let me set it up a little bit, and then you jump in whenever because it's always funnier to hear the reflection of the other person versus the way I tell it. So what Heidi's been talking about with this thing is again, Heidi, myself, and Jack are good friends, and we don't get to see each other a lot in person since COVID. Obviously, Jack being overseas in Europe, Heidi and I have a couple of hours in between us, so a lot of it's remote. But a couple of years ago, I think I want to say 2 years, maybe three. I hope it's not 3 years already. It might be, but a couple of years ago, Jack came down to Toronto, home base, and he said, "I'm down here for a couple of days." It was work with his agency, and Heidi came down for some stuff as well because she worked as a partner with Jack. And she's like, I'll come down. And Jack messaged me. He's like, fat boy, you get down here too and come see us. I'm like, all right. So it's around Christmas time. And ironically, and we get together a really nice steak restaurant down by WSI head office. I haven't seen Jack in person for a year. I haven't seen Heidi in a year. So we get together right away, like big hugs and making fun of each other and everything. And Heidi's not making fun anyway. It's just me and Jack. So it's basically mom with two immature boys, and she's got to kind of silo us from being meatheads. So we're sitting down at dinner, and I'm sitting next to Jack in a booth, and we give Heidi, the lady, her own comfort on the other side of the booth. And we're talking with sexual undertones, like males for some reason do. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there talking to Heidi across the desk, and I feel this large hand come across my thigh and kind of position itself between my legs under the table. And from there, me being immature, inappropriate, and rude, I'm like, oh. And then Heidi's trying to figure out what's going on because I've got this kind of weird look on my face. Jack's grinning ear to ear like he's achieved something because he's grabbed me in my nether regions.
He's looking like the Cheshire Cat.
and and so Heidi immediately is like, not even like, what are you guys doing? She's like, oh my God, I need a photo. So she picks out her phone and takes a photo of me and Jack. And all you can see in the photo is these two guys in their 30s, heavy, smiling. I've got a big grin on my face, looking like I've won. I won the Christmas gift. He's all you can see is Jack's hand under the table where it shouldn't be with me. And so we got this photo. Heidi is absolutely almost pissing herself laughing. She is
I
in
was
hysterics.
apoplectic at this point, and Jack has his arm around your shoulder with his other hand. Oh, come on.
So he's got his arm around me. He's got his other arm between my legs. And like he's just giving me the best good time at dinner. This is in a public restaurant at like 7:00 at night.
Oh my God.
So we get the photo. What do I do as soon as I get home? Yeah, Mike, keep that to yourself. That's a funny. No. Let's go into our WSI internal network and let's post the photo for everybody to see. And I, something rude there, like not just work partners, but friends and with benefits or whatever else. And this is Jack Porter Smith, one of the most successful people in our industry at the time, facilitating big business with his agency. I'm running an operations and agency for my owner or whatever else, and two children. But the key, I got you to laugh, and that's all I wanted.
Yeah, my babies. It's my boys, man.
So anybody that's thinking about reaching out to Jack Porter Smith, be careful because Jack will use some tactics to close the deal that I can't talk about on this call. But
Well, when we go to Scotland together, you'll be able to get him back.
no, because he'll probably close the bedroom door behind me and smile again, and I don't want that. I love you, Jack. That's one of
Again, like the
my
Cheshire
favorite
Cat.
stories of the three of us because I just remember you were just like, you two have to stop, otherwise I'm going to pee myself at this table. And so like you just absolutely lost it at how just dumb me and
Oh,
him are. Dumb.
it was so, so funny. But we had some laughs too on the beach in California with birds shitting on my head, and I'm trying to clean up with, like, what do you call them? Seaweed, and, like, we had a lot of laughs, like, a lot. Like,
Oh,
it was nonstop laughs all the time when we were together, right?
but and for the WSI people listening and other people that are enamored with the Angry Ops guy to listen to what we're trying to talk about and so forth, that is the biggest gift of the WSI network.
Yes.
And nothing is perfect. Things change, people go, people retire, everything else. But the one thing that has always been said about the WSI network is the friendships that are built. That's why people like you and I and others really stress for people that him and ha about our WSI global convention that runs, every year to year and a half, depending on the timeline, to go, because it is like getting back together for a family reunion. And there's been
Mhm.
newer franchises that come up to me that know me because I've been with WSI so long, saying, "Oh, nice to meet you finally," whatever. And they said, "You guys are nuts." And I said, "Like, what do you mean? You guys drink this weird Kool-Aid where you actually like each other." And they're not saying it to be rude, but they
They
admire it
don't
because
understand.
they come
Yeah.
from corporate backgrounds. There's people that have retired out of corporate and bought a franchise to work for themselves, and they're just like, I can't believe how much you guys enjoy sitting around, whether it's drinking or educating or collaborating or teaching and talking and mentoring and whatever else. And that's the beauty of the WSI network, is the friendships. I would have never met you in life if it wasn't for WSI.
Probably not. And you know what, Mike? We could expand this even further. Throw in guys like Eric Cook, throw in guys like Jameson. Like there are a bunch. And you and Jack and all these guys. And I just sit back and watch the boys have fun. It's hilarious. Even the old boys. Trust me.
Oh
Trust
yeah.
me, when the old boys get together, oh my goodness gracious. It's
They
hilarious.
Because this business, like any business, is very stressful. It's very fast paced. It's become very reactionary. That's where that burnout, that mental fatigue comes from. But
Yeah,
being around people that understand what you're going through, and having that support system, that like it's like parents say, right? It takes a village to grow a child. It takes a support system to survive in digital marketing agency life,
yes,
and to have friendships of all different ages, male, female, whatever. It that's the reason why I continue to want to pay back and help and support and take care of people, because a lot of people that helped me through my years when I was much younger, and didn't treat me as a kid, saying, "Oh, Peter just dragged his project manager here. Get out of here." People like Eric and Mark. Um, I'm missing so many. Francois, Chuck, Neil
oh,
Lapp. Those are some of the
so
old
many,
guard,
so
but like great people that are just like, I don't give a shit how old you are. I don't care what you do. You're part of Peter's team. Kick ass. Get over here and be one of us. Where are you going to get that in other businesses?
yeah, no, you don't. You don't. It
And
is
Eric,
there is
I did a story with
camaraderie.
Eric Cook a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to release that shortly. And he even said, I said to him, like, you're like a big brother to me. I see you once a year. I talk to you 3 or 4 times a year because you're so busy and I'm busy. But we get together, it's like big brother, little brother conversations, hooligans, whatever else
Trust.
and so forth. And I love the man, and I love those other guys we talked about, because
Yeah,
that's what keeps us grounded, to say, like, Christ, today sucked, but man, Heidi made me laugh today. Jack made me laugh today. And that's what keeps you going, is those friendships. And
yeah.
you just reminded me of another story that's quick. It's not necessarily funny, but I think it would have been way better at the beginning. But I always like the story, which I've told you. You were very surprised about this, that I told you a couple of years ago, but I remember meeting you and knowing about you before I even met you. And you're like, what? Because me and you really connected in friendship and colleagues, let's say 5 to 7 years ago. That's
That's
when,
very true.
kind of
Yeah.
we got much more. Hi, Heidi. Really nice to see you. And then we started to get close. But this is going back into your earlier days. Let's say 2015, maybe 2016.
Mhm.
Um, so I was in you remember this, and I'll tell the story just people understand. But this is how our friendship started, and also kind of echoed from your friendship with my Peter, which was the foundation. Because what people don't know is my Peter was a big mentor and supporter as Heidi was getting into the industry, being a more tenured agency, and helping her in the early days as just an ear, and helping her get her feet going and so forth. So this is going back to the beginning. But I was in a networking thing and I got an opportunity. This is an
Well,
opportunity
that
for a business. Yeah. Opportunity for a local business. And, we're not happy with our existing provider. We're entertaining a bunch of quotes, and and this was another member of that network, that group, and said, Mike, you're in the group and I trust you. I'd love to get a proposal from you. And talked to the guy a little bit more, was getting my details, and mentioned that we're already got a proposal from another WSI franchise. And remember, going back 10 years, I was younger and more naive and didn't know all the rules and regulations. I'm just trying to help facilitate business. I brought it back to the office and I talked to Peter and I said, I got an opportunity through my networking group. And he goes, that's awesome. Well, tell me about it. And I said, this, but there's another WSI that's already tendered a proposal out, and Heidi Schwende. And he goes, oh. And I said, what's the matter? He goes, nothing. He goes, love Heidi. She's down the road from us here out of Toronto. And he says, step away from the opportunity. I said, what? Why? I'm sitting there trying to hustle for commissions. I'm trying to help business development. Why? And he goes, we don't shit where we eat. He goes, there's an explicit rule in WSI that if there's another WSI franchise or colleague, because that's what we are. We're not competition. We don't have our own zones to say Mike works in Hamilton and Heidi works here. It's not
Yeah.
the way it works. We can go get business anywhere and we don't, but so forth. So he said to me, he goes, because Heidi already has put a proposal out and they haven't decided, he says, you need to respectfully exit because we are not going to put her in a position where we take business away from her, or we're going to jeopardize our integrity by thinking that we're going to do something undermining. So I called the customer and my friend and my networking friend at the time, and I said, hi, so-and-so. And he says, hey. And I say, I really appreciate you bringing this to me, but I have to step away. And he goes, what? Why? And I said, you already have a proposal from a WSI colleague and partner of ours that I know. I know her personally. My agency owner knows her personally, and we have a strict rule that we will not conflict with another WSI franchise. So if you do not choose that that proposal, or maybe down the road, then we can entertain that again. But if she's in the running, then I will have to exit. And he said to me, he goes, Mike, that's a testament to your agency, your owner, and yours character to do that. Thank you very much. And I ended up working with them in years later, but you never knew that story
Until later.
till later, much later. Again, a few years once we really started to connect and be friends. And I told you that, and you were floored by that.
Yeah. I love that. And it happened to me too. Once with Eric Cook and
Yeah.
another time with Ryan Kelly. Ryan Kelly, another great guy.
Yep. Shout out Ryan Kelly.
Yeah. And I said to the client, oh, you're already working with, it was either Eric or Ryan. And I said, you're in very, very good hands. Never mind. Stick with what you've got because there's nothing that I could do better for you, period. And you step away from the opportunity. And it's only happened now. This is we're talking like 13 years. These are the only 3 examples that we have.
Yeah, they don't come often. I had
No,
one. I had one with our friend, our friend Denise, last year, where again our sales guy was in networking groups and so forth, and somebody came to him saying, I'd love to get a quote from you or this, that, and whatever else. And we found out indirectly that there's a similar situation, whether they had a quote out or it was a customer of theirs, whatever. And I said to him immediately, step away. I'll draft the email. I let Denise know out of respect for her agency, because as soon as you pull the carpet out from under someone that you trust, respect, that you're an ally or whatever, you're dead. There's no
can't do it.
trust, there's no integrity, and you're a piece of shit. And there's too many people out there that do it. But that's our internal ethics, similar to yours. And frankly, that's one of the reasons why our friendship is as strong as it is, because what I did when I didn't know you, because it's not my place to harm your business. I am your friend. I am your colleague. I want you to succeed. You want us to succeed. And we're not going to sit there and shit where we eat.
No, never.
There's lots of business out there, and you burn a bridge. You better get ready for the ride. And I love that story just because of it was such a learning experience for me. I wasn't malicious, but I didn't understand at that time of my career the business repercussions, and knowing kind of that code of honor, if you want to call it, of how to navigate a difficult situation like that, where I'm at the time hungry to sell and hungry to bring business to my agency. But look at now again 10 years later, and where you and I are in life, friendship, certain projects we've worked on together. And one thing I think I can say comfortably is we have a very strong trust bond between us of how to support each other, both personally and professionally. And that's because of layers like that.
Well, can I tell you something else?
Sure.
That same client, I used to work with a woman at it was a big multinational business, big. And she was in sales automation, and I was in digital marketing. And I was responsible for building the website and integrating. It was Oracle Eloqua at the time to Salesforce. And I had to work with her. And she knew me very well. And we both left that business. She went to another business, and I founded my company. And she went to that client. The client said, "Oh, you worked at such and such. Yeah. Do you know Heidi? Oh, yes. Oh, Heidi has a proposal in with me right now to do our digital marketing." And she didn't say no. She went ahead. She undercut me, and she took the job and told me after it was closed.
Wow.
So ask me if
There.
we're friends today.
Well, exactly. Right. At the end of the day, life and business is built around trust. And as
Yes.
soon as you have that ripple of the trust, it's never the same.
No, when I took this woman with me, I went to pick her up and took her out all the way to Mississauga to some of the small business expos. And I introduced her to people that I knew to help her because I knew I was already in business for a while by then, and I wanted to help her set her foundation. And this is what she turned around and did.
Well, again, that's a lesson to people out there, whether you've got a small agency that you're growing, whether you're an existing WSI, but that's a code that you should live by, which is if you get any inkling that another WSI franchise, if you're in the WSI network or you have partnerships and whatever else, take the ethical approach and let the person know that somebody's entertained it. Let them know that so because again, what I did there between building a reputation with you unintentionally by doing the right thing, and that customer who ended up working with me for a couple years down the road when things were different.
Yeah,
Um,
after she'd
I,
left.
I I set the groundwork there um, to know that no matter if I didn't get the job or not, I had built trust and a reputation of someone who will do it the right way, and that always pays it forward. It's just a matter of time till that person comes back. And that also, maybe in closing, since we've been talking forever, and we'll wrap up here in a couple of minutes. That goes back to what you were saying at the beginning about establishing trust and how to how to make sure the customer leans in with you and says, "I can trust you" and whatnot. Is it's not always about getting the quick sell. Everything's about selling. You got to sell, got to sell,
No,
but you also need to be able to understand where the person's at. And you and I, in different ways, have declined customers, not because they didn't have budget or not because whatever, but saying it's not the right time for you to try to invest now where things are tight, or maybe I'm asking for more than you ever thought that you could afford in your marketing. But I want you to hold on to this money, or we've said like you're losing money right now with your existing provider and something's wrong here. That's not a tactic to get the business. That's a tactic to try to show people we genuinely want to help with honest feedback and honest knowledge or guidance. And how many times does that customer come back 3, 6, 9 months saying, "Hey, Heidi, remember me? I'm ready now. And I'm
happens a
ready
lot.
now because of how you took care of me 9 months ago and you never asked for a penny." So
So
don't ever
happens a
think that
lot.
your time or your investment of effort, as long as you're not being bleeded for stuff, and you have to figure that out in your prospecting phase, but don't undervalue taking care of someone. And going back to what you said, listening to them in their moment of pain, because those are the things that people remember. And then they go back to good people when they're ready and for what they need, versus I'm just going to go scour the internet and find another agency. They're going to remember how Heidi took care of them in that conversation. She didn't disrespect me. She didn't belittle me. She didn't think, "Oh, you're cheap. Goodbye, leave." She gave me time. And I think that's a really good lesson to wrap this podcast up: is give customers, give suppliers, give your network time, and if you do that, it will allow you to prosper when people are ready. And don't expect everybody to make the yes decision right on the first call. You got to figure out what it is for them to check the boxes saying yes, 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 and then it's just a matter of when.
And I have to, before we sign off, I have to say that I have found wonderful partners in WSI Paid Search Utopians, wonderful
Yep,
partner in you. Like, I have some wonderful people that I still work with to this day that I will never turn my back on. And it will last even beyond, say, a retirement. This
absolutely.
these friendships are going to last for a very, very long time.
And
And
isn't that cool, Heidi? You know what I mean? That's what it's about.
yeah,
Is what we have in common is work, but we have become friends. I know about your family. You know about my family. You're heavily invested in Jack's family, for example. You care about your WSI family. And
yeah,
that at the end of the day, family is everything. And people are everything in a remote digital world where we have lost socialization and everything else. But I want to pay you a compliment as we wrap up here because again, we've been talking forever and I can't wait to see what this turns into. But
we probably will have to split it in two.
oh, we will. We will. Don't worry. But I just want to compliment you as, you are one of those people I always look forward to see when I can see. You're always that person that's got a big bloody smile on your face, always happy to see me with a big hug. You are so kind in how you compliment me in our forums and other things of just your thoughts and so forth. And I'm very fortunate and appreciative that I can call you my friend. And I learn something from you every day on the things that I'm not good at. And I like how we complement each other. And I'm looking forward to many more years of friendship and good health and getting together with Jack and being three idiots again. But
Won't that
I
be
want to thank
wonderful?
you for who you are. I want to thank you for coming on. And I wanted to just also just thank you for what you bring to WSI because I think a lot of people could learn a lot from you for having conversations at convention or training or whatever about how to prospect. And you've done some great presentations that are very, very eye opening. It's very impressive what you can figure out, what you can do, and I think you have so much to give back with time. As you continue to evolve your stuff. So, thanks for being you.
All I could say to all of that is ditto, Mike. It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
It's definitely a two-way street. I love you more than my luggage.
All right. Well, look, I the Angry Ops guy can be found on Spotify, Apple Podcast, where other major podcasts are streamed. We're on Instagram and we're on YouTube. Angry Ops guy underscore WSI. Give us a check. We'll be dropping more episodes as we move into 2026, and we will have Miss Heidi Schwende back because we got so much more to talk about, whether it's about AI or WSI, and she's got a very good perspective on that. So, Heidi, I love you very much. You know that. So,
Right back
thank you so
at you,
much for
Mike.
coming on. And hey, Jack, Heidi's my friend too. Screw you. Anger Ops guy out.
Yeah, Jack.